this evening's meeting. Today is April 3rd. It is our April work session. Stephanie, to get us started, would you mind doing roll call?
Yes. Councilmember Shimeleski.
Present.
Councilmember Serna.
Here.
Councilmember Barton.
Here.
Councilmember Elam.
Here.
Councilmember Fry.
Here.
Vice President Kingsley.
Here.
President Sokolowski.
Here.
Mayor Aronson.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, welcome everybody. We've got a full house today. Prior to this work session, Borough Council held an executive session related to property, legal, and personnel matters. This evening, before we get started, I just wanted to talk quickly about an important initiative that's happening in Montgomery County. It's the Montgomery County Community Health Assessment information. So Montgomery County Department of Health and Human Resources is conducting its first ever community health assessment. The county encourages all its residents in Montgomery County to participate in the assessment to help county officials better understand the most important health issues facing both you and our community. Your responses will help shape the community health improvement plan and direction of the public health in Montgomery County for years to come. The Borough Council of Conshohocken is partnering with the county to help push this important survey out to our community, which is why we're here to talk about it tonight. The county went live with the survey this week. The borough will be posting the survey link and downloadable flyers and postcards on our website, TV channel, social media outlets on Friday, April 5th. If you prefer a paper copy, limited hard copies of the survey will also be available for pickup at our Borough Hall Suite at Suite 200 or at the Community Center at the Fellowship House. And the survey is available in English and Spanish. I did my survey. It was pretty quick, and I think some of the questions that they were asking were relevant to what's going on in communities and what kind of needs we're seeing out there today. So all surveys are anonymous and confidential, but the information gathered will help make the difference in the health and well-being of our county in Pennsylvania. The survey takes about 15 minutes to complete and includes questions to help understand your health priorities, your perspective on health issues in the community, your experiences, and how the experiences influence your health and well-being. Results of the survey will be used to inform the county's planning for the future. The data will be collected, analyzed, summarized, and shared with the community later in this summer. Using what we learned through the process, we'll work with our community and our county partners to develop a collaborative, community-wide, transparent, and long-term community health improvement plan. This work is critical in helping to meet the needs and priorities of all of our residents. Please remember to complete your survey by April 25th. And if you have any additional questions about the survey or if you need help filling out the survey, please don't hesitate to contact the public health in Montgomery County, or you could call the phone number that is listed there. So this is exciting. I mean, this is, I think, the first attempt to really dig into the needs of the different pockets of Montgomery County, and I think will be valuable in creating services that are under-resourced today in our county. So I'm excited about seeing how this pans out. All right. First up on our agenda this evening are some presentations. We're going to start off with a swearing in of our new police chief, Dave Lennon. And Mayor Aronson, would you please come up to the podium with our chief of police?
I, David Lennon,
I, David Lennon,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear,
that I will support,
obey,
obey, and defend
and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and that I will discharge
the duties
of my office
of my office
with fidelity.
with fidelity.
Congratulations.
I would just like to thank council for their trust and confidence in me. I want to let you know that I won't let you down. I look forward to working with each and every one of you. I'm excited to get started work on the next chapter of our police department, and I would just like to thank my family, my friends, and all the members of the department and the community that supported me throughout this process. So thank you very much.
You don't always have to be the boss.
Are we getting it? Oh,
Yes, you are getting in now.
okay.
Ready? Perfect. I'm going to grab all the officers that are here. They have to.
Fida. Retired Chief Mike Wheeler, if everyone doesn't heard of him.
Okay, ready? Good, thanks. Others here. Oh, they're all going down the pub now. They said they had enough of us. Wow, they were all here to see him. That's awesome. That is awesome.
Actually, I've been away.
I was trying to walk like him. I had to think about it.
Okay, let's continue with the agenda. Next up on the agenda, we have a proclamation designating April as Pennsylvania 811 Safe Digging Month. So, Ms. Barton, would you mind reading the proclamation for our Safe Digging Month?
Whereas the month of April 2024 recognized as Pennsylvania 811 Safe Digging Month, and the initiative sponsored by Pennsylvania 811, a utility notification information center with over 50 years of continuous service to the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and whereas Pennsylvania 811 received 1 million excavation notifications in 2023, over 3,000 construction projects in Coordinate PA, and transmitted approximately 6 million notifications to their member facility owners and operators, allowing essential utility and construction crews to provide vital underground services and repair of critical infrastructure to communities throughout Pennsylvania. And whereas their mission is to prevent damage to underground facilities, to promote safety, provide an efficient and effective communications network among project owners, designers, excavators, and facility owners, and whereas when dialing 811, at least 3 business days before digging, a homeowner or a contractor is connected to a unique service that notifies the appropriate underground utility operators in the municipality in which the work will be performed, and whereas by notifying 811 of their intent to dig, the homeowner or contractor is knowingly helping to protect the underground utilities, themselves, work crew, and their neighbors from any unsafe digging practices within their community. And now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the Borough of Conshohocken, in support of the Pennsylvania Underground Utility Line Protection Law, PA Act 287 of 1974, as amended, do hereby proclaim April 2024 as Pennsylvania Safe Digging Month, and encourage all Pennsylvanians to visit the Pennsylvania 811 website at www.pa1call.org for information about digging safety.
Thank you, Ms. Barton. With that reading of the proclamation, I will be looking for a motion to approve Proclamation 03-2024 designating April as Pennsylvania's 811 Safe Digging Month in the Borough of Conshohocken.
I'll make that motion. I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is a presentation on the Feel the Beat special event, Beats for Bella and Heartwork. And at this time, I will invite Erin Burkowski up to the podium. Look it, you're ahead of me. Erin, it's a pleasure to have you come in and talk to us a little bit about the event today.
Thank you. Thank you so much for giving me a few minutes to
Turn your mic on.
turn this.
Yeah, just
Is it
push
on?
the button.
Green?
I think that is.
Sorry. Okay. Thank you for giving me a few moments to come in and just share about our group, and then briefly just kind of do a little overview of the event we hope to host in the Conshohocken Borough this fall. Before I do that, my name is Erin Burkowski. I am Ty's daughter-in-law. I married his son Justin, and family from the area. We started our nonprofit 10 years ago in honor of our daughter, Bella, who was born with a very severe congenital heart defect called hypoplastic left heart syndrome. So, big long name for basically she was born without the left side of her heart. Very much like the mayor's son, Thomas. So a year after she was born, we started Beats for Bella just to simply create awareness and tell her story. 10 years later, it has turned into something really tremendous, something we're so proud of, and in those 10 years got connected to a group called Heartworks out of the Minnesota area who is doing some tremendous research to find alternative therapies and cures for congenital heart disease. So what we want to do with this event, let me backtrack. I promised I would say this because it's a really special day tomorrow. Tomorrow is Bella's anniversary of her Fontan. So we have not been inpatient for 8 years. So it's a special day for us and our family. So what we hope to do with this event is just create more community. We're CHD affected. The Ironsons are CHD affected, but we want to make more people CHD aware. So in this event, we invite families to be there, but we also invite the community to be there for a family day. We will have local families who are in the community. We may have families who are treated at CHOP that live in Virginia. But really the event is meant to just create more community within this heart world. And hopefully it grows as the years go on. And we will love Conshohocken to be a hub for this event and grow bigger and bigger every year. There's so much hope for children born like Bella and Thomas. And we're not giving up on finding a cure. So I could go on for a very long time, but I won't. If you guys have any questions, I realize there's probably lots of moving parts and details. We're happy to work with you guys and do whatever we need to do to make it a success.
Any questions from council?
Can you just go through dates?
Yes. October 5th is the day we propose. It's a Saturday. The event would run from 9 to 2. We would probably need about 2 hours of setup time prior to like a registration opening at 8, but like the live event would run from 9 to 2.
And the whole event is going to be at the community center and also use of the Marywood Park.
Yes, weather permitting, we would love to use the park area, but mostly indoors. We do have a food truck. I did not fill out that food truck application yet, but we do have a food truck that would come into town to provide lunch for all the guests.
How many attendees would you hope to bring in?
We expect between 100 and 150. 150 is probably high, so probably closer to that 100 mark. Kids, it's a family event, so lots of kids too.
So it looks like you have it broken up where during your speaker sessions, there is childcare where they can play and the parents can pay attention to what the speakers have to say.
Yep.
That's great.
Yeah.
And Erin has already come in and she has met with all of the borough administration and all of our emergency management personnel. So we've worked through the particulars of the event itself. And at this point, we have the dates and everything blocked for the community center in Marywood Park through Lauren's registration process. So this evening it's being presented and then it'll be back on your agenda on the 17th for formal approval, for consideration. And then any other further coordination that we need to do together, we would just do. But right now, it's been a very positive working relationship to bring this event to Conshohocken.
Is this the first one you're doing like this, or have you done it?
This is the first, typically the event would run in Minnesota out of the Mayo Clinic, which is really difficult for families to travel to. So what HeartWorks kind of did and partnering with local nonprofits in 3 specific cities across the country is taking it on the road so that we can go to the families. And CHOP and the Philadelphia area, Conshohocken, is a hub for families who travel to this area who are CHD affected. So they're having one in Denver and they're having one in the St. Paul, Minnesota area. So this is the first year we're doing it like this.
So will CHOP be also marketing this?
CHOP will be invited. They will be as engaged as they want to be. We wanted to work through the details locally first before we talk to them about their involvement, but we've approached them with this idea and they are excited about it.
How many volunteers are you expecting? Or do you think you'll need?
I don't know that we would need any.
Okay.
Beats for Bella is a pretty tremendous support in the area, and then HeartWorks travels with a group of people who volunteer at their events. So I would have to kind of look at our pool of people and who's available that day, but I wouldn't expect.
What type of numbers are you talking about for staff then that you have or that,
Yeah, Heartworks
Heartworks
would
is
probably
gonna
bring
bring.
about 10 people with them, and we're born and raised in this area, so we have, tens and 20s of people. I don't think we would need any.
so that leads to
Local.
my next question. How many do you expect to come from out of town?
If I had to throw a dart, I would say maybe between 20 and 30 people. So we would need to look locally for like making accommodations and reserving hotels and if somebody's in the hotel, how we transport them up to the Fell, if it's crappy weather, things like that, logistics.
Okay, thank you.
The borough has a shuttle, so.
I know that now. I do know that now. We were just talking about that, how
So we'll
convenient
add
that
it,
will
we'll
be.
add it to the Conshohocken caps scheduled for that day.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Great. Any other questions from council?
No more questions?
It's exciting. Thank
We're
you.
excited, yeah. So, any questions, you guys, Stephanie has all my information. You guys can reach out. Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Thank you.
Am I allowed to throw a plug in for the Beards for Bella fundraiser?
I should have done that.
Those who've been around, lucky enough to have been around during Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer movie, not to be confused with Borough Ives.
Is that what it is? Is that what you're growing? Beards for Bella?
Yeah, real quick, like 60, 70 guys get together,
Okay.
and Aaron makes us shave early December.
Yeah.
And then we have a big fundraiser, the longest beard and who raises the most money. It's a real good, our first year, we did like 85.
Mayor's in it also.
Ah,
Yeah.
That's why I was barefaced for our Christmas
It's
party.
like there's a button to click for the event. You can look up Ty, you can look up
can't
Wendy.
wait to get rid of that.
43
I almost
days.
didn't recognize you.
At the last shaving, I think I had a bag of Doritos and. Have a great
Thanks,
week.
guys.
Thank you.
All right, next up on our agenda, it doesn't look like we have any land use, public hearing, or ordinance information this week or this month. So let's go directly to manager matters, and at this point, I think I will turn the microphone over to Steph to look at some resolutions and matters that she has on the agenda.
Great. My first item is for the Recreation Department. So in the 2024 budget, we had budgeted for AC units for the gymnasium specifically, and that was done on more of an exploratory process. So in the meantime, while we were still determining how best to use those funds, because there is no air conditioning in the gymnasium portion of the community center, the heating unit that heats the gymnasium stopped working. So therefore, instead of fixing one problem and another solution, we were trying to pool funds. In speaking with our alternate engineer, Tyler from RVE, the project could potentially be considered for a COVID-19 ARPA capital projects grant. It's hard to believe they still exist, but they do still exist. So he did the due diligence of going through the grant application and grant requirements. And this project, specifically because of the community that it serves and the uses for that particular facility and the need for clean circulated air, it meets the requirements of that grant application. So we are going to, if you give us the authority to do so, apply for it. What that means is that the project would be dual purpose. It would replace the heating unit that right now is being basically restructured in a way that we can still utilize the facility, but it does need a replacement. And then also add a cooling function to that same unit and ventilation that would be required. There is structural work that is also required, so it's not a cheap and it's not an easy project, but it is something that we definitely need. So Tyler has worked through, again, the grant requirements. They have worked through the project cost estimates. The project in its entirety is being estimated right now at $765,171.75. That includes contingencies, engineering, inspection, and administrative fees for the actual construction portion of the project. But we are looking for a resolution that will be presented to you on 4/17, which would authorize the borough to submit for the grant. That grant application is due on 4/20. And it is through, the grant actually runs through the Commonwealth Financing Authority, and therefore we are drafting letters of support, requesting letters of support from Senator Hughes and State Rep Scott, because they both have interactions specifically with the Commonwealth Financing Authority that we've had luck with in the past. So that is the project scope. If we were able to get both the heating and the cooling in the gymnasium, that would be huge for us. If we can get it through grant dollars, that would be even better. So tonight is just for discussion. If you have any questions, Tyler is working diligently with Lauren to get all of the requirements for the grant tied up. The last will be the resolution, which you'll see on your agenda on the 17th.
How much was the grant?
The grant, the minimum grant that could be received is $250,000. So there could be, if you receive only $250,000, then there would be dollars that would need to be covered from the borough's perspective. But you've already budgeted in excess of roughly $130,000. So you're getting up there. But we are going to request the full amount. So there is no match required also. So if you do get the full amount, you're not required to provide matching dollars. And if we get the grant, then you would budget for it appropriately moving into the end of 2024 and 2025.
Just to clarify, $130,000 was budgeted for the heating unit originally?
$130,000 was budgeted in this year to do a portable AC that would be outside the community center. It wasn't a structural unit. It was just to provide a cooling element to the gymnasium.
Gotcha.
Heat
Okay.
would have to be done out of budget.
Heat would have to be done out of contingency dollars because it was not budgeted for, because it was working in 2023 and stopped working in 2024.
Okay.
Any other questions? Sounds like a great opportunity.
We're hoping.
Kudos to Tyler for finding it.
Tyler from RVE for finding it and putting all the work in to actually get us to a place where we could meet the April 20th deadline.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you. Next item under manager matters is considering appointing an applicant to the Friends of Conshohocken Parks. So we are looking for a motion to appoint Eileen Fay to the Friends of Conshohocken Parks.
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? That motion carries. And then the last item on the agenda under manager matters is consider approving the first and final professional service escrow release for 227 Washington Street, sketch plan in the amount of $1,800.26 plus interest. I'll need a motion.
I'll make that motion. I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Great. Next up on the agenda is legal matters. We will turn the mic over to Mike Peters to explain the third addendum to the solid waste disposal agreement with Covanta.
Thank you very much. In your packet was a draft of the third addendum. The agreement for disposal services with Covanta was entered into in 2015 and was bid out in 2014. Are you guys hearing that weird echo?
Yes.
Yeah, I just turned mine off.
Let me try again. No, it's still done. I'm just going to talk about it. It was bid in 2014. At that time, there were two option periods. It was a 5-year contract, and then there were two 5-year option periods. You are in the end of the first 5-year option period, so you've been in the agreement for 10 years. You have one 5-year option period left, which this third addendum would exercise. The 2025 rate matches the 2024 rate, and then for the remaining years, there's an approximately 3% increase through those years, and that would address your disposal needs through December of 2029. And that's it.
All right, so what you said was no increase from 24 to 25, and then 20.
3% each year moving forward.
Any other questions?
Yes, I do, actually. Have we, so I see the chart and see the 3% increase. So my question is, have we done any investigating on what the going rates are at this time period?
Yes, we have. We have not done them recently because we did them at the last renewal.
Okay.
In 2020, the tonnage was $107.50 for another trash hauler, and that would be disposed in a landfill. Another hauler was $85 per ton, and that would be taken to a landfill as well. We had another entity that we reached out to, and they would not provide costs at all. We were told to put out a formal bid for pricing. So the prices that you have in front of you are extremely competitive compared to the rest of the market, especially considering the fact that the EPA specifically supports on their website the fact that energy being generated from waste is preferable to a landfill, and the other options that we basically have at our disposal are landfill options.
Okay, that's what I was looking for.
Great.
Thank you.
Stephanie, those costs were per the tonnage. That didn't take into consideration the time and gas if we had to haul stuff too?
It does not. It does not. Additionally, as well as the additional manpower and the additional trucks. So if you're talking about additional trucks and additional manpower that you would absolutely need, because you're talking about hours worth of transporting trash, you're talking about roughly $235,000 to $250,000 per truck that you would need, as well as an additional roughly, $35 to $37 per hour per person that you would need to add to your workforce.
Are there local landfills, or how do you go about picking a landfill? Is it the company that you go with?
It's the company that you would go with. The landfills are positioned in areas that they actually require transfer stations. So it's not that you're taking it directly to the landfill, you're taking it to a transfer station, which requires driving to, and then the trash is transferred to the actual landfill itself. So if you're talking about environmental impacts, you look at that full picture, it's a no-brainer.
And just to clarify, the cost for transport is our trucks.
That is correct.
You're just describing our cost for our trucks.
Correct.
I know that there was some community concern a couple of years ago, some issues that they had. Has that all been resolved? Are they experiencing the same with the EPA? They're talking about end of life with the plant. Where does all that stand?
Covanta is in good standing with the EPA. We have a relationship that we've generated directly with one of their general managers who sends out a lot of emails and a lot of updates. I believe that they've invested roughly $10 million in capital. So they are not going anywhere. And I think the biggest argument back then, which has pretty much been rectified because we don't have the same issues, is that we are a stakeholder in that company by bringing our business there. And if they're investing that type of capital, they're clearly not going anywhere. And therefore, we wouldn't have a say if we weren't part of the organization.
And Stacy, what we did in addition to them forming relationships, we put in your last addendum and also in this one, a requirement that when they do have issues, they report them to the borough. And we carried that over into the new addendum as well. Mm-hmm.
Any other questions? Okay, this will be up for a vote in the 4/17 meeting. So not for a vote today. All right, that concludes the items on our agenda. So at this time, I will ask if council and the mayor have anything that they would like to talk about this evening.
Always. I wanted to give a big thank you to our staff for a really, really fun Easter egg hunt. Almost made it through without crying the whole time, but we had a really good time. So thank you to Lauren and her team. It was packed. I mean, you can see from the pictures. It's just seems to grow every year. So really wonderful day, and we had great weather. So thank you to the whole team at the community center for putting that on every year. We also have a really cool initiative from Discover Conshohocken. They're doing a borough-wide book signing on Saturday. So all of these stores are going to have authors that are going to be selling books and autographing them. So Discover Conshohocken is encouraging people visiting town or residents to explore all these different stores within the borough. So really cool, really different, really fun. So thank you to Discover Conshohocken for organizing that. And then finally, we're actually only 10 days away from Conshohocken Little League opening day. I'm sure all of us will be there, excited for the parade and the first pitch, and to see really just the amazing, this class of parents that have just really taken charge and raised funds and have started working the borough on new equipment and amenities for the kids. So we look forward to that on April 13th at Sutcliffe Park. And that's it for me.
Thank you. Yaniv, the authors that all these different businesses have, are these all local authors?
Actually, I don't know the answer to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, thanks. Mr. Fry.
I'm good.
Zelm.
I'm good, thank you.
Nothing.
Yes, we're going to have the second annual Green Fest this April 27th at Marywood Park. So there's going to be a lot of kid-friendly events and educational activities for kids to learn about environmental conservation.
That's great. Alan. And I have nothing this evening. All right, with that, good meeting. We will call for public comment at this point. Any public comment? The ladies in the back who are whispering, do you have any public comment? All right, no public comment. Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone.